This is Rick with $1 trillion in his account.
I just used a dark web account to hack Goldman Sachs, remove trillions of dollars, and purchase everything your company offers.
And this is still Rick, being unable to afford arcade tokens.
Here you go, 3,000 flurbos.
You see, Rick's actual net worth is one of the show's greatest mysteries, because he is rich in some episodes and broke in some. Talk less of Morty. So today, I want to investigate and find out how much money these guys actually make. And I'll do that by going through those moments they really flexed on us, just like the time Morty became a Wall Street guru.
Heinholz Biotech, $1.5 million at 33.
You little fucking monster.
The only reason this was possible in the first place was because Morty lost his toxic side.
Ha! All right, Morty, now it's time we remerge your little ass. You're a better man than me, Rick. I'm healthy enough to admit that.
3 weeks after this, Morty is a confident Wall Street prodigy, with his slick suit, New York apartment, girlfriend, and all. Based on his Wolf of Wall Street lifestyle, he was likely making around $60,000 a week in commissions, roughly $2 million a year if he'd kept it up. Damn, I'd love to make $2 million a year too, but that would only be possible if you subscribe to my channel. Please drop a like and smash that subscribe button. Let's grow together. Morty's rent, which was probably about $4,000 a month, was nothing compared to that income. In just 3 weeks, I'm estimating that Morty cleared over $120,000 after taxes. And that was enough to cover rent, furniture, protection from Rick, and still have serious cash left. For a moment, Morty was living better than Rick ever did. But speaking of Rick, he's not exactly broke either. In fact, back in Season 1, Episode 9, he was already running a surprisingly profitable business of his own. And the only reason Rick started this business in the first place was to spite the devil.
Don't you want to make sure people know what they're getting? You're not intentionally selling beauty cream that makes ugly ladies pretty but also makes them blind?
After realizing every item from Needful Things was cursed, he opened Curse Purge Plus, right across the street, charging people a fee to remove those curses.
I use science to uncurse the items for cash, and you get to keep the powers.
Knowing Rick, I'm guessing he charged $400 per item, and that would still be cheap because after each curse is removed, an item could be worth $8 million.
This guy got mysterious sneakers to make him run faster, but guess what? He would have had to run until he died, making them worthless. I removed the curse, making them worth like, I don't know, $8 million?
With about 75 customers a day, the place made nearly $30,000 daily, adding up to around $420,000 in just 2 weeks. After expenses and taxes, Rick probably cleared about $270,000 before burning the shop down out of boredom.
I just got bored. Everybody out.
How rich can one be to afford to burn down a thriving business? Well, it's because what he was making was pocket change compared to what came later. I'm talking about when Rick decided to hack Goldman Sachs for $1 trillion. And he did it just to prove a point.
You can't kill me, old man. I also have an unresolved fortune.
The most successful businesswoman on Earth? You could do anything you wanted, and you chose work.
In mere seconds, Rick bought everything Jeneth's company owned, made her the most successful businesswoman alive, then crashed her empire by taking the money back and returning it to Goldman Sachs because he doesn't care.
You son of a bitch!
How does it feel to achieve your dreams? Empty, right?
$1 trillion gone, and Rick didn't even blink. To him, that's also pocket change, because he builds universes, trades weapons across dimensions, and has probably done bigger heists off-screen. But the irony is that just a few seasons earlier, Rick couldn't even afford Blips and Chits arcade tickets.
You understand what 2 humans can accomplish with 3,000 of these? Oh, what? An entire afternoon at Blips and Chits!
In Morty Night Run, Rick literally had to sell an antimatter weapon to Crimbopulous Mike, this alien assassin, just to afford to spend an afternoon at Blips and Chits. When Morty questions him, Rick admits the deal was strictly business, proving that Rick has a side hustle of selling weapons, and we know he has done this before because of what the assassin says.
I'm Crimbopulous Michael. I'm an assassin. I buy guns from your grandma.
It's also as if Rick was just broke in the episode because earlier, when he dropped Jerry off at the Jerry Baree, he casually mentions he wishes he owned the place.
You created a daycare for my dad?
Are you kidding? I wish I had this idea. Well, I did have this idea, but I wish I was the version of me that owned it. That guy's rich.
It sounds like Rick's broke, but the truth runs deeper. This Jerry Baree and Blips and Chits issue isn't about money or even currency. He's the kind of man who's hacked banks, traded across galaxies, and even holds funds in alien systems and off-world accounts, as we see in Rick, a Mort well-lived.
I'm proud of you, Morty.
Please, call me Marta. That's my video game name. Speaking of which, I do have one condition.
At the end of the episode, it's revealed that Rick paid to have the Roy, a life well-lived simulator, kept running, so that Marta Morty could live out her life in peace.
What's with the jacked up Roy machine? Shouldn't you be taking that to repairs?
Nah, special order. Some rich douche wants his last game to keep running.
The Blips and Chits guy even refer to him as some rich douche who covered the bill, meaning Rick literally spent flurbos to keep a virtual world alive, the same flurbos that he seemed to not have in Morty Night Run. The only way Rick could afford to do this is if he is genuinely wealthy in off-world currency, not just on Earth. And he proves that again in The Old Man in the Seat. In the episode, Rick builds a secret paradise planet just to poop alone. But when a kind office worker named Tony finds and uses Rick's special toilet, everything changes.
You shit on my toilet because you don't know your place, and your place is nothing. So next time you stumble onto a toilet that feels too good for your ass, trust me, it is.
You're not gonna kill me?
Don't tell me what to do!
At first, Rick hunts Tony down out of pride, ready to kill him for trespassing on something so personal. Instead, the annoying Tony somehow disarms him completely with empathy. He sees through Rick's anger, calls him lonely, and even tries to be his friend.
Goodbye forever. If you touch my toilet again, you die.
You need a friend.
I have a million cooler friends than you.
I'll be seeing you.
You'll be dying.
We're gonna be friends.
You're gonna be dead.
When Tony later dies in an accident, Rick shows up at his funeral and, in his own awkward way, tries to make it right. He gives Tony's father $8 billion in the planet's local currency, and even a cloning kit to bring Tony back. The fact that Rick can hand over billions so casually further proves how enormous his wealth is across galaxies. It means he either holds reserves in thousands of systems, or can convert currencies instantly through interdimensional banking. Another episode that shows he's rich in other currencies is the Whirly Dirly Conspiracy, where he takes Jerry to this immortality resort, which only the extremely rich can afford. It's a place literally surrounded by an immortality field, where guests can die and instantly come back to life. And to show you how he's the richest of all the rich assholes here, he's more than a guest. He's the guy who built the technology that makes the resort possible.
My kingdom was usurped by force, with weapons and technology supplied by your father-in-law.
This moment quietly confirms that Rick sits at the top of the galaxy's economic hierarchy.
Mr. Sanchez gets anything he wants.
So after all these adventures, business deals, heists, and fortunes, how much really does Rick and Morty make? Well, that depends on what kind of money we're talking about. Rick isn't rich the way we understand it. He doesn't chase cars, mansions, or luxury. He literally lives in his daughter's garage and spends his days building god-level technology under it. Just take a look at his room. And it's a huge contrast to the multiple underground labs in the basement, each more advanced than the entire government's own. These labs would easily be worth billions if anyone could actually buy them. But the thing is that nobody actually can. Rick doesn't need to buy what he can build. The few times we see him need cash are for services, like a round at Blips and Chits or some alien ice cream. And even then, he only needs a few flurbos or dollars, which he gets instantly, say by selling a gun to an assassin. When you can invent anything, money loses all meaning. That's why he gets so excited about going to the arcade, because for once, he's doing something normal, something he can't just create from scratch. He's also sitting on limitless wealth across dimensions. We've seen him pay $8 billion in an alien currency without hesitation, fund an immortality resort that only billionaires can afford, and even hack Goldman Sachs for $1 trillion just to make a point. Rick has flurbos, galactic credits, probably hundreds of alien currencies and off-world accounts hidden everywhere. But none of it matters, because wealth is a reaction to need, and Rick has transcended need.
Watch closely as Grandpa topples an empire by changing a 1 to a 0.
He can create realities, clone life, and build universes that worship him as a god just to power his car battery. Pursuing wealth would literally be a step down for him. As for Morty, his finances are much simpler. Aside from that brief Wall Street guru phase, Morty has no steady income. He's a 14-year-old kid with unlimited access to infinite technology, but no actual ownership. His riches are temporary, borrowed from Rick's inventions or luck. So how much do Rick and Morty make? Morty makes nothing. Rick makes everything, not in money, but in power, knowledge, and freedom.